Good morning. It is my first day on Optavia and I am about to do my first fueling. If you haven't been to my channel before, my name is Kate Novian and I am starting a new health journey. I just did my measurements and my weight. Taking my weight after using the restroom but before eating, I am currently 219.6, so that is my official starting weight, and we will see where I go from there. I've done all my measurements for the day. It's no surprises on that for me, but you'll forgive me if I keep those to myself for the moment. They're a little embarrassing. So anyway, it is my day one. To optimize my optimal health plan, I made a point of setting myself up well for today. So the first thing that I did was I wrote myself a little note, and I don't know if my phone is going to reverse it or not, but it says day one, first fueling less than 30 minutes after waking up. Take your photos and measurements, you got this. So I find that encouraging myself helps. I am a coffee person, and so the first fueling I'm going to try is one I have heard almost nothing about, so I'm a little nervous. I'm going to do the frothy cappuccino boost. So I will make this the easy way. It says I need to do 8 ounces of hot water. So that's actually really easy to do. I have a Keurig. So I've turned my Keurig on. And if you ever need to get hot water from a Keurig, just don't put a pot in. Make sure that the little place that you put the K-cups in is empty and it will run hot water. So I'll be right back after this to let you know how it goes. Okay, so I have preheated my Keurig. On my Keurig, I have one of the older ones. You have what looks like a teacup and what looks like a coffee mug. The teacup dispenses 6 ounces and the coffee mug dispenses 8. So this is what we're gonna do. We're gonna open it up. There's a coffee cup in here. Taking that out. No more of that. Close the lid. There we go. And choose the larger of the two. The water comes out. So according to the back of this, it says pour 8 ounces of hot water into a large heat resistant cup, add the contents of the sachet, and whisk thoroughly with a fork or wire whisk. So I actually have a wire whisk that's very small and made for drinks, so that's what I'm going to use. I'm going to go get that. Okay, so I have my sachet and I have my tiny little wire whisk that I use for drinks. So we're going to open this up. And you can see it's just a powder. Powder goes into hot water. Let's see how well this blends. I have tried other protein powder type coffees before, so we'll see how this one compares. This is definitely frothy. Oh look, lots of bubbles. Lots and lots of bubbles, that makes me happy. Oh, looks like some of my liquid got, some of my powder got stuck to the side here. Bring that down. Make sure you get all of that powdery goodness. Alright. Let's give this a try. And here's my reaction. Let's see how it tastes. It's actually not bad. kind of reminds me of the texture of like a Swiss Miss hot chocolate, actually. It does kind of have a protein powder taste to it, but it overall doesn't taste bad. I could drink this every morning. So we'll see how this goes. I think this is going on my approved list at the moment. We'll see if there are things I like better. See you in about 2 hours for breakfast. Okay, it's been about 5 minutes. Update. The cappuccino boost is much, much better with a couple of cubes of ice. It really tastes a lot smoother and less chalky when ice cubes are put in it, when it's cooled down a little bit. So if you get a chalky taste, blend it a little bit better and stick in some ice cubes and it won't taste that way. It now just tastes like a regular cappuccino. So, yay! There it is. Okay, here's an update. It is currently 11 o'clock and I just finished my second fueling, which I did the Indonesian cinnamon hot cereal. I'll be honest, I really was not too fond of it. The texture is a little bit dry. It might be better with a little bit more water. I'm not sure. I'll try that next time. It's not exactly the flavor that you'd expect. You do taste and smell the cinnamon. The honey that they indicate, can't taste at all. It's definitely not sweet, but it is, it's also not, it has a weird aftertaste. So I'm really not fond of it. I probably won't order it again. And I'll be looking to see if there's anything I can do to it to help it or to make the texture better. So I'm going to try it with a little more water next time. I may also try reducing the cook time a little bit. I think it was a little dry because it was because it ended up cooking for 60 seconds and the packet said to cook it for 50. So we'll see what happens next time, but it's definitely not going on my likes list. Anyway, I am now going to eat again at 1:30, and at that point I'm going to have my lean greens. So I'll let you know what we make for that. Catch you later. Hey guys, it's Kate again. I just finished my lean and green meal, and I wanted to explain what I did, how I did it, and what I'm going to do a little different next time I do this. So before this process started, I looked through a whole bunch of recipes, trying to find things that match the Optavia lean and green guide exactly. I didn't want a single vegetable that was not on that list. I didn't want a healthy fat that wasn't listed. I literally wanted to stick to exactly what's on the documentation. Because if I'm going to figure out whether this works or not, I've got to do it by the book. I've got to do it exactly the way that it's defined. So after going through all these various recipes, I decided I'm going to just make the ingredients kind of according to what's allowed and to mix them into something that seemed like a decent recipe. So what I decided to do was first pick a protein. I had some extra lean ground beef in my refrigerator. It is the 97.3, so sometimes that's hard to find, but my HEB is pretty good about keeping it on hand. So I got the 97.3, which falls into the leaner category, which means I can have one healthy fat with it. And I then said, okay, well, I'm going to be making the beef in a skillet that doesn't require oil. It's a non-stick. So because of that, I don't really need olive oil. Maybe I can pick something a little different. So I said, you know, I'd really like my healthy fat to be either black olives or guacamole. So I was like, okay, so that means it's going to be Mexican food. But I was like, okay, no cheese. No dairy at the beginning is what my guide has told me, my coach has told me. So we will not do any cheese. Instead, what I did was I looked at the vegetables and I said, you know what, there are bell peppers. I can do peppers. That'll work. So I got bell peppers. I had an orange one. I love using bright vegetables because it makes me happy. It makes me feel like I'm not eating a salad all the time. So I got my bell pepper, cored it, took the middle out, and then I measured it. One of the things that I am trying to do very well on this is to actually measure my ingredients by volume and weight. And that requires going online and finding a volume to weight conversion for a lot of things. But I bake a lot, and I've learned that baking by weight is way more exact than baking by volume. And if you can do simple addition in your head, you can put multiple ingredients in the same bowl on your scale and just add up the amount as it goes, which is sometimes easier than trying to do the measuring cups and go, well, do I pack this down? Do I level it out? How do I manage this? So, so that's what I did. I looked up the conversion format and I weighed my bell pepper once the core was removed, and it was exactly 1 cup. So I knew that was 2 greens right there, done, which means I only had a ½ cup vegetables left. So I said, okay, it is Mexican food. Tomatoes are always a good thing for that. So I got myself some tomatoes, and since we can't do onions, but we can do scallions, which by the way are green onions, I got the scallions and the tomatoes and I mixed them together until I had a ½ cup total of both. So, and then I weighed it. I did it by weight. And it came out right about 3.76 ounces of tomatoes and scallions. So once I did that, then I said, okay, well, now I can do my condiments. I get 3 condiments. This is very easy to add up quickly, so you got to be careful. And this is also where I made a mistake. I saw that I could do a 1/4 cup of fresh parsley, which is great, except that parsley tends to make things more bland if you put too much in there. So this is the mistake I made. What I should have done is done half of the allowable amount of parsley. So that would have meant doing 1/8 cup of parsley. And then that would have allowed me to do a little more of the spices. So for my spices, I used garlic. I will use garlic a lot. It is normal for my diet. I like the taste of it, and it tends to proliferate across ethnic types of foods. So Italian food, German food, not German food, Mexican food, both have very strong garlic tastes, and so does Asian food. So put in my garlic, and I said, you know what, the garlic has a natural oil taste to it. And I will be right back after I pull my husband's lunch out of the oven. While I'm getting my husband's stuff out of the oven, here is a photograph of the finished meal. So the bell peppers stuffed with the meat mixture and all the vegetables are in there. I know it doesn't look like it, but there they are. Now, I did add in paprika and a little tiny bit of salt. But if I cut down the parsley a little bit and added more paprika or added some cayenne in, it would have been better. It was a little bit bland. So that's what I'm going to do differently next time I make this. The good news is it is a lot of food, and it doesn't feel like you're eating a diet meal. And honestly, the lean and green shouldn't feel like you're eating a diet meal. It should feel like you're eating real food that's healthy and balanced. Now, you notice I didn't list a fat. I actually ended up adding my fat at the end, and what I did was that I took some olives, some black olives, a little bit right at the amount allowable, and a little bit of guacamole, right at the amount allowable, So about half of a healthy fat of each. And I mixed those on into the meat at the end, and it was really good. So that was my lean and green. As far as a health, how I feel update, well, it's day one. So the reality is I'm probably not going to notice a whole heck of a lot in the way I feel. That would be my expectation. Just like some days you eat more, some days you eat less. I don't think it's going to make a difference to the way I feel right away. What I will tell you is that I can feel everything kind of cleaning itself out right now. I have felt my gut kind of rumble. My stomach has rumbled a little bit, but not in the I'm hungry way. More like a, hey, I'm actually digesting crud way. So it's not uncomfortable. I'm not having gastrointestinal distress. It's just occasionally my stomach's been rumbling. So I've been going, oh, okay, hello. So yeah, I mean, that's the only thing major I've noticed. So far on the water, I'm about 3/4 of the way through where I need to be, which means I can ease up a little bit in the afternoon. I did end up downing a whole 12-ounce thing of water with my mid-morning fueling, as well as a whole one right afterwards because it was just so dry. But yeah, that's where I'm at right now. So, so far so good, and I'll catch you in a couple of hours when it's time to eat my next fueling. I'm not sure which one I'm going to do yet, so we'll find out. Until then. Hey guys, it is currently 4:30 in the afternoon, and I am about to have my first afternoon fueling. As you can see, I'm in the car. I am in the passenger seat though, and I'm all made up because we are going to Trans-Siberian Orchestra. This is a Christmas tradition of ours that we really enjoy, and it is my first kind of challenge because I'm having to schedule my fuelings in such a way that I've had my lean and green already today, because obviously trying to get that at a concession stand is not going to be smart. So I'm on my way there. I'm going to do a bar this time because I'm in the car, and this is the perfect thing to get for on the go, on the run. So I am going to do the Caramel Delight Crisp Bar, just like the package, and it really does look exactly like the package. It looks like Rice Krispies. You can see this. Oh, stuck in the package here. Oh, there we go. All right. So this is the Caramel Delight Crisp Bar. It looks like the caramel layer is very thin, which is good because it can get sticky, and it looks like it's kind of sweet. It looks like it has a chocolate drizzle on it, so that looks yummy. And the rest of it looks like Krispies, so I'm looking forward to this. It doesn't look real dense, so we'll see how it tastes. Okay, this one I like. Kind of reminds me of, well, it kind of reminds me of a candy bar. It's pretty sweet. It's not cloyingly so, but you know, you can tell it's got some sweetener in it, which is nice. And I can definitely eat these. This one is going on my keep list. I am probably not going to film during TSO, obviously, but I will let you know right before I post how the concert went. I did take 2 fuelings in my purse. One is the jalapeno cheddar poppers, and the other one is the Italian herb crunchers, I think. So I will use those during the concert instead of going to the concession stand. And I will be drinking water only. I have about 1/4 of my water left to go, so I am going to enjoy that and take my time with it. keep track. So I will talk to y'all when I finish with Trans-Siberian Orchestra. Hope you guys have a great evening. Hey, we're in the stands now at TSO, and I am having my last fueling before the show starts. I am doing the jalapeno cheddar poppers, which are actually really good and are definitely on my favorites. So these are the jalapeno cheddar poppers. You can tell that the coloring is coming from the spices, not from artificial coloring. They have no aftertaste. They are crunchy, and they're about the same consistency as what you'd expect like a Cheetos cheese puff to be. So I really like them, and these are a keeper, that's for sure.
This is a keeper too.
That's my husband, Alan.
This is a pizza.
As you can tell, he's not doing the
It's on the diet. Please try it. It's great.
No, it is definitely not. Although I am looking forward to trying out a cauliflower crust pizza at some point, but I'm not going to do it yet. So anyway, these are awesome. Totally vote for them, and see you after the show. Evening, everybody. It is after midnight, and I am about to head to sleep. Trans-Siberian Orchestra was a lot of fun. We really enjoyed it. And I had the jalapeno poppers, which were good, and the cinnamon sticks, which were not so good. I figured out that the aftertaste I don't like is the stevia that's in it, or whatever other sweetener it is that they use. So I'm going to try some of the savory stuff and see if I like that better. I am about to turn in. I am exhausted, so I will see y'all in the morning. Bye.